Welcome back, everyone, to another 2022 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship bracket prediction video. We did a lot of these last year. I think we did like 4 or 5 of them. Started a little bit later this year. We're going to do one this week. We're going to do one next week and then the week after. So we'll have 3 in total this week, right before conference championships heat up. There's some going on right now for the mid-major, lower major conferences. And then we move on into next week. And then that's when the ACC, Big Ten, all those big tournaments we love, will start their conference tournaments. And then the week after will be right before March Madness. We'll have our Selection Sunday bracket available, and we'll go through it. As time goes on, my mind's going to change. But my prediction right now is based on what I've seen up until March 2nd when I'm recording this. So this is Jerry Palm's CBS bracketology. Instead of doing my own bracketology, I'm not advanced to kind of know everything, kind of the seeding. The goal is maybe next year or the year after to do my own bracketology and just use that. I know Jake Marsh from Barstool Sports, host of the Barstool Bench Mob, does his own. It's very solid. So hopefully we'll get there in a second. Or get there next year. But as of now, here's what we got the bracket. We're going to go through the whole thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each team or on each game because that would be way too much time. But as we get into the bracket, I won't talk as much because my thoughts on the team, their matchups will kind of be displayed a lot in the first and second round, if that makes sense. But we'll just get right into it. Don't want to waste anyone's time. I know you guys just want to see it. But make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on YouTube at All Sports Culture. And yeah, I'm excited to do this. I'm pumped. This is my favorite series. You guys loved it last year. So if you guys want me to continue it, show some love, comment some things. Oh, and one other thing. I did the bracket challenge last year with you guys. I did horrible. I think we got like 50, 60 people to join. If you want me to do it again, let me know. I'll add it when the Selection Sunday, when March Madness is set. I'll send that link out to the YouTube. Let me know. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun. But let's get into it. Gonzaga, Norfolk State. Gonzaga is going to win this game. Gonzaga, I think, is the best team in the country. I know they just lost to St. Mary's a couple of days ago as I'm recording this, but Gonzaga, I think, with Chet Holmgren, Drew Timme, Andrew Nembhard, there's so many flashes, so much talent on that Gonzaga team. And I know it's the common answer to think they're going to win it all, but if someone said that to me, I would not have a problem with it at all. Boise State and Notre Dame. Boise State is one that I think the most underrated and most well-rounded, balanced teams, I think, in the country. But this Notre Dame team, you can make an argument they are the second best team in the ACC, whether that be UNC, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. I think Duke is head above everyone else in the ACC, but Notre Dame's a really solid squad. Definitely tough matchup. I think it's going to be a really close game. 8-9s always trick you up, but I think Boise State's actually going to win this game. I think a lot of people are going to think Notre Dame's going to win it, and I would have no problem with that at all. But I think Boise State is going to take this one. Arkansas and South Dakota State. South Dakota State, really solid team. They earned themselves that 12 seed. I'm fine with that. One of the best three-point perimeter shooting teams in the country. But this Arkansas team, I think, is special. I loved Arkansas coming into the year, but they obviously had that slow start, I guess you could say. As time's gone on, they've just heated up. And what we say about teams in the tournament, look at that UConn team back in 2014, I think it was. And look at so many teams, and the recipe to win a national championship is getting hot when February and March hits. Arkansas has gotten hot. They've been on an absolute run, and I think this Arkansas team is something special. And as a 5 seed, I think they have the potential to win a national championship. I said that. I think they have the potential to win the SEC championship, even with Kentucky and Auburn. Love this Arkansas squad. Illinois, New Mexico State. Basic answer, I'm going to go Illinois. New Mexico State always kind of finds their way into the tournament. I remember betting on New Mexico State or predicting them to win against, honestly, it might have been Auburn a couple years ago, if I'm correct. It was that 12-5 matchup as well. I think it was New Mexico State. I can't remember who they were playing, but yeah, I had New Mexico State winning. They did not do well, but they always, like I said, find themselves in the tournament. But this Illinois team, I don't want to say, it's kind of been a weird year for the Fighting Illini. Obviously, Kofi Cockburn is doing his thing, but you really expected Andre Curbelo to not deal with the concussion and his kind of thing that's been happening all season long. But this Illinois team, I think, is the potential to be really solid. I know a lot of people are high on them. I think they're going to be a really solid team. Iowa State and BYU. I'm going to go BYU here for my first upset. Iowa State, non-conference, they were fantastic. But come conference, I think they're right now 6-8, 6-9 in conference play. They're 6th in the conference right now. But yeah, their overall record's really solid, but there definitely is worries with this Iowa State team. And even with BYU, I think they're 5th right now in their conference as well. Obviously, you're getting the production from San Francisco and others that you didn't expect to be really well in that conference. But BYU, I still think is a pretty solid team. A lot of people thought BYU could give Gonzaga not a run for their money per se, but a little bit of a challenge out there in the Mountain West. So I'm not Mountain West. What am I saying? WCC. So yeah, I think BYU has the potential to beat Iowa State in this instance, and maybe even a Providence Princeton next round. We'll get to that later. Providence Princeton. I'm going to go with Providence. I have a lot of worry about Providence. We'll get there when they face a really good team, but as of now, I think they have no problem against the Princeton team, who's done really well in the Ivy League. I think Princeton just got a big time win against an Ivy League opponent a couple of days ago. I can't remember who the opponent was, but Princeton's always a really solid team. Those Ivy League teams, whether it be Yale, Princeton, Harvard, they're always going to make noise in the NCAA tournament as that 14, 15, et cetera seed. Ohio State, San Francisco. I'm very confident San Francisco would win this game. I think Ohio State's one of the most overrated teams in college basketball, and I think a lot of people think they're overrated, so maybe they just suck. Maybe they're not even overrated at this point. Lost to Maryland and just lost to Nebraska. 2 straight really bad losses for them. Ohio State led by E.J. Liddell. E.J. Liddell is a top 10 player in college basketball, but San Francisco has been so good this year. And I think as a 10 seed, we always say, I think John Rothstein said this about the San Francisco squad. They're in a position to be in a position, but right now they are in a position to do damage in the NCAA tournament. I like San Francisco here. Kentucky Longwood. Come on. Do I need to say anything? Kentucky's really fucking good. Excuse me. Baylor, Nicholls State, Cleveland State. Come on. And if you would have said Baylor's a 1 seed at the beginning of the year, I said you're crazy. Lost so much production, but Scott Drew, the evolution, unbelievable. Seton Hall, Iowa. I'm going to go Iowa in this instance. Keegan Murray, I think, has all the validation, all the resume in the world to be National Player of the Year. He won't win it because there's Oscar Tshiebwe, there's Johnny Davis, but Keegan Murray, what a freaking player, man. I mean, Iowa, again, one of those teams you didn't think would be really good. I know they're a 9 seed, so it's not technically like they're anything amazing, but still, going to the second round would be kind of crazy if you said that to an Iowa fan before the year. They're in that position to play Baylor. Should be a really good second round matchup. UCLA and Iona. Look, everyone, I will bet money. If this was the matchup come Selection Sunday, everyone, like at least 60-70% of the public would be on Iona. And that screams UCS beating Creighton to me last year. And you can't fall for that trap. When everyone else thinks it's an upset, that 12-5 upset, don't always go for it. Look, UCLA has a lot of worries on this team. I get it. They've not been playing up to that Final Four national championship contender that we saw last year in the NCAA tournament as that 11 seed. But I think they're going to get at least a first round win. I predicted way before the season, not even way before the season. What am I talking about? Like right before the season, a couple of days before, I said UCLA is going to lose in the second round of March Madness. That was my bold prediction. I don't want to say bold because I think a lot of people thought that last year's tournament run wasn't a fluke per se, but kind of just that Cinderella-esque run that they won't reciprocate and replicate next year. But I think UCLA is at least going to get a first round win. Tennessee, Chattanooga. I'm going to go with Chattanooga. Yes, Tennessee's been playing a lot better basketball. If you would have said before the year that they'd be in a position for a 4 seed, that'd be crazy. Yes, they were really, a lot of people thought they'd be a top 3, top 4 seed in the SEC before the season. But after that UNC lost way early on in the season, it looked really downhill for them. They had no offense, but with Kennedy Chandler and company, they've been playing a lot better basketball. Just got a win against Auburn a couple of days ago. Auburn's kind of fell off that, I guess, really high radar. We'll get to them later, but I think Chattanooga can win this game against Tennessee, a team Tennessee I don't think will be that good come current tournament time. They never really are. Go last year to Oregon State, like this Chattanooga squad, and I think they get a win against Tennessee. Colorado State and the winner of Memphis, Michigan. I will say I think Michigan beats Memphis. This Michigan's team has been playing a lot better. They just beat Michigan State. And this Memphis squad, again, have been playing a lot better before the year. You would have thought they would have won the American Conference, but Houston does their thing every single year with Kelvin Sampson, unreal coach. But Memphis playing a lot better. They could definitely win this game. I think it's Michigan. And I think Michigan, Colorado State, I think Michigan will take it. So that's Michigan. I think I can change it. That's okay. I can't. Anyway, I have Michigan. So don't mind the Memphis there. That's my pick. Villanova and Vermont. I think Vermont is one of the most underrated squads If they match up against a Texas Tech with the number 3 seed, I think they could lose that game. Just because Texas Tech, everyone's head over heels for, and rightfully so. Villanova, though, is an intriguing team. They beat Providence twice this year. Colin Gillespie has been always someone who has been very reliant. They didn't have him last year in the tournament as that 5 seed, still made to the round of 16. And with Jay Wright, they're always in contention. So if they were playing a Providence, I think Vermont wins. Like I said, against who's another 3 seed? Texas Tech, I think they lose to, and Purdue. At the 3 seeds, this is just a loaded college basketball year. I think Providence is the only 3 seed they beat, but I think Vermont's very solid. I don't know if they beat Villanova. I think they do beat Villanova. I don't think they beat Villanova. I need to have upsets in here, though. All right, I'm just gonna go Villanova. I think this may be a basic bracket, but I think Vermont could definitely win this game. I love Vermont. They've been so solid in conference play all season long. I don't give a fuck about who they've played. Unbelievable. TCU and Davidson. TCU. I think a lot of people would choose Davidson in this instance as well, just because they were ranked 25th at some point in the season. Lost to VCU, I think, at that game at home at Davidson, but TCU just beat Texas Tech as home. They've gotten a lot of quality wins, TCU this year, a lot of quad 1, quad 2 wins. So give respect to TCU. I think they get the spot over Davidson, and then Duke and Jacksonville State. I'll go with Duke. So that's that side of the bracket. Go to this side. Hopefully you guys are interested. Sorry if I'm taking too long. Auburn will win this game. I don't want to go into detail. Marquette and Murray State, a matchup you don't want to see if you're Marquette because of what happened 2 years ago with Ja Morant, or that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that was. But yeah, I think it's going to go to Murray State. Marquette is kind of an overrated team, I'd say. Shaka Smart's done unbelievable in his first stint here at Marquette after what happened with Texas. Chris Beard comes into play. We all know the story, but Marquette's been a little bad as of late, I would say. I get it's a tough conference in the Big East, lost solid teams, but I think Murray State's going to win this game against a Marquette squad as well. Texas in the winner of Florida, VCU. I think it's Florida. I think it's close though. VCU, like I said, with the Davidson win, showcases they're really solid. Texas, Florida. You guys aren't going to like this one. I think Florida wins this game. Yeah, Florida. They just beat Auburn. As we've said, they just got a really solid win on the road against Vanderbilt. This Florida team is really solid. I don't want to say you're expecting a little bit more out of Colin Castleton, their best player, arguably, but, I thought Florida was going to be a top 5 team in the SEC. They really weren't, but still they're a tournament team. Get them props. They were that 7th seed last year. They're in the tournament this year. I think they get a first round win against Texas. So good for them. UConn Towson. I'm going to go with Towson. You guys aren't going to like that one as well. A 12-13 matchup here on this side of the bracket. UConn is a team I don't really love, honestly. RJ Cole has been really good for UConn. And yes, they're always kind of a team that solid, I guess, come that tournament, conference tournament time, whatever it is. But I like this Towson team. I think they're really solid. I think they're going to give UConn a run for their money. Just going with it. Houston and Miami, Florida. I said Houston a couple weeks ago was the Final Four team, and then they just stopped playing basketball, stopped playing good basketball. So I don't really know what happened. I think Kelvin Sampson's always going to give this team a shot to be really solid. I know they've dealt with injuries. They're a really bad second half team as well. But this Miami, Florida team to start the year, they got to win in Cameron Indoor. This Miami team has been solid. As of late, they're a little shaky, kind of going back to their normal selves. I'm going to go with Houston in this instance. I think some people could go with Miami here, but I love Houston. Love what they do on an every year basis. Made the Final Four last year when a lot of people thought they had no shot. I know their defense last year, even this year, really good, solid. Love Houston. Purdue and Northern Iowa, I'll go Purdue. I mean, Zach Edey, Jaden Ivey, Travion Williams coming off the bench. Unbelievable offensive squad. Their defense, yes, that's a worry. I get it. Everyone's going to say it. Maybe that's a worry against Houston. Michigan State and San Diego State. I'll go San Diego State. Michigan State has been horrible as of late. I don't even know if a 7 seed is good for them. You can make an argument they're worse than that. Just lost, like I said, to Michigan. They've gotten really bad losses as of late. Tom Izzo, though, does his thing in March. So we can't forget about that. But I think San Diego State gets the win here. Kansas, I think that's Long Beach State. So I'm going to go with Kansas here. Arizona and Colgate to Arizona. I think all the 1 seeds win. Only happened once. We're an upset where the 1 seed loses. Won't happen in this tournament. Wyoming and Creighton. I think Wyoming is one of the most underrated squads in the country. Not to the point where they beat Arizona. We'll get to that later. But I think against a Creighton squad, Wyoming's going to get the win. St. Mary's in North Texas. I think a lot of people are going to be on St. Mary's because of their win against Gonzaga. I know Marty Mush doesn't think they're a good team. They're a little above average team, which is freaking crazy. St. Mary's is a very solid team, and they play such at a slow tempo that you just love to watch. They slow the game down. Everything they do, they just play the right basketball, it seems like. But this North Texas team, a lot of people have been high on them. I'm pretty high on them as well, and I think against the St. Mary's team, they'll get this win. Alabama and Toledo. Think a lot of people would go Toledo based on how overrated Alabama has been this year. Their offense, everyone wants to say they rely too much on the 3-point shot. And yeah, they do. But that's what Nate Oates has implemented when he wants to come at Alabama. They were the 2 seed last year, lost to UCLA, could have won that game. I think they lost by 10, but they were kind of pretty much in it for the most part. So I like this Alabama squad. I don't love them. I think they get a win against Toledo, though. We'll see what happens against North Texas. USC, SMU. Go with USC. I'll talk a little about USC in the next matchup, and then Texas State. Look, I'm serious when I say this. Look, as an App State Sunbelt fan, I-10 App State, we're in the merch. I hope App State qualifies for the tournament instead of Texas State in the Sunbelt. It may be biased, but I know a lot about this Texas State team just because, like I said, I'm a fan of the Sunbelt. And I seriously, trying to get no bias involved, think Texas State is a very good squad. The reason why it's a 14 seed, because usually when you see Sunbelt teams, whether it be Georgia State, App State, Georgia Southern, Texas State in this instance, they're a 15, 16 seed. Like Appalachian State was a 16 seed playing team last year. They were not a good squad, lost to Norfolk State in the first 4, but Texas State is really good. Mark my words, they are a really solid team. They won Sunbelt, their best player won Sunbelt Player of the Year. But Texas Tech is one of the only 3 seeds where I don't look. Those 3 seeds are unbelievable. I think they beat Villanova. I don't know. I don't know. The 3 seats are just so good. Texas Tech is so good. But I love this Texas State team. I could say loads of great things about them. Hopefully it's App State playing and not Texas State, but we'll see. LSU and Xavier. Xavier got that win against Ohio State early on in the year and things looked promising, and then just at home on the road, they couldn't really get it done. LSU, though, another weird squad coming to the SEC. I think I'm going to go with LSU. And then Wisconsin and Montana State, I'm going to go with Wisconsin. So I feel like I didn't have enough upsets. I had Chattanooga. I mean, I had a lot of 12s out of some 11s. I didn't have a 14, though, which I'm a little upset about. I don't think I did. Unless I had it up here. No, I had Purdue winning. I had Texas Tech winning. Had Villanova winning. And I had Providence winning. I feel like you got to have at least one. So maybe I'll change one. But I don't want to force it, if you know what I'm saying. I'm going to leave it at this. I get you guys in the comments are going to be like, you need that more upsets. That's something I'm really going to focus on in the next video, but I can't go back and change it just for the purpose of trying to get upsets. I explain my reasoning why I think they're going to win. I got to respect it, honor myself. Gonzaga, Boise State, Gonzaga. Arkansas in Illinois. Boys, Arkansas is winning this game. I love Arkansas. Illinois goes down in the side. I know Illinois won the whole thing last year. Illinois goes down in this tournament here. Oh, that'd be crazy to see. Arkansas, they're riding that momentum, and they're going to be riding it into the Sweet 16. BYU in Providence, an 11 versus 3 matchup. I think BYU is going to win this game. I am not a huge fan of Providence. I love Ed Cooley. He is the National Coach of the Year. No debate about it. Anyone who tries to argue that it's Mark Adams, Greg Ward, wait. Let me do some research. Everyone, I'm so sorry. Greg Gard. Why did I say Greg Ward? There it is. Greg Gard. I was like, my mind was blanking out. Excuse me. It's not them, though. It is Ed Cooley. But Providence, we have seen in the past however many tournaments, they are one of these teams that rely so much on close games. And that's fine because proving you can win down the stretch in the clutch is is a trait you want to have in March Madness. But is it to the point where they rely too much on these close game situations and one time they're going to fail? because we've seen in instances teams that have been in so many close games in the past in the NCAA tournament. I don't know the exact stat, but Ken Palm had it. These teams do not do super well in the tournament. And I think Providence is so good in the Big East, but I think BYU upsets them. Not, you guys are going to hate me for it. Going with BYU though. San Francisco, Kentucky, I cannot say enough good things about this Kentucky team. I think they're deserving of a 1 seed. Baylor, Iowa. I'm gonna go with Baylor, but I seriously think Iowa could give this team a run for its money. I think Iowa is that underdog. Really, I mean, they were the 2 seed last year with Luka Garza. Now they're the 9 seed, but think they could pull off an upset against Baylor. UCLA and Chattanooga. That is ugly, but I'm gonna go with UCLA. That is probably gonna be the worst game of all time. Memphis and Michigan and Villanova. I will go with. Speaking of Michigan, Elliot, what are we thinking? Michigan or Villanova for the second round matchup?
Well, Michigan sucks. Probably Villanova.
Okay. The Michigan fan himself says Villanova, and then we have TCU and Duke. I think Duke is one of the more overrated teams in college basketball. Not a lot of people are going to like that, but I think Duke will get a matchup here. Let me do that. And then moving on to this side of the bracket, Auburn, Murray State. I'll go with Auburn. Murray State, like I said, in the, I think it's Ohio Valley Conference is what they're in. It's been really solid this year. The 23 seed as of late. I don't know if they still are by the time you're watching this. But I think Auburn will get this win. Florida, VCU, and Towson. I said Florida was going to win that game against Towson. I think Florida will win. And that'll be interesting to see Florida and Auburn again matching up in the postseason like we saw in the regular season. Houston, Purdue, San Diego State, Kansas. We'll talk about Houston. I don't know what I'm saying. Houston, Purdue first. I don't really want to go Purdue because I think their defense is obviously going to hold up on them come tournament time. But Houston's injuries is definitely something we got to worry about. I'm going to go with Houston. I think a lot of people are going to be upset because they think Purdue is that national championship contender. But I love Houston so much. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they play Kansas. I'm not really going to go into detail about this. I think Kansas is a Final Four squad. We'll see if they get there based on matchups, but love their talent. Jalen Wilson. We'll see if Remy Martin plays up to what we thought he could come tournament time. Arizona, Wyoming. I'll go with Arizona. That's an easy pick. North Texas, Alabama. I hate Alabama. They're horrible, but sure, we'll go with North Texas. I think North Texas will win this game. I think North Texas, like I said, will win their matchup against St. Mary's, another underrated squad. I think Alabama will lose this game in the second round. I don't think Alabama is like an Elite Eight caliber team. They can maybe get to the Sweet 16, like I was saying, but no further than that. USC, Texas Tech. USC, I know I said against SMU. I'll talk a little bit more about them. This USC team I thought was extremely overrated because they were winning games, but they had that COVID spell back in, I think it was January, February, whatever it was. But Pac-12, they've been really solid, actually. They got the win against Oregon, I believe it was, which was really down to the wire. So I think this USC team can make a lot of noise come tournament time, but it's Texas Tech, and we can't forget about Texas Tech. So I think Texas Tech wins this, but USC is going to give a run for this money in this game. I promise you that. LSU, Wisconsin, probably Wisconsin, but I have my worries about Wisconsin as well. And I think that is it for that side. Sweet. So we're now down to the Sweet 16, Gonzaga, Arkansas. I'm going to go boys and girls. Many girls are watching. This is why we sleep in May, because of these matchups like this. You're all screaming at me on the monitor saying, just go with Gonzaga. It's not going to be that easy, man. Like I said, it is killing me to do this, but when Arkansas, I hate that they're on the side of Zaga. If Arkansas was on the side of Auburn, Baylor, who's the other one seed? Arizona, they win. Not Gonzaga though. I'm serious. Arkansas, I would put a good chunk of. I don't bet anymore, by the way, for you guys. Maybe I'll come back come March Madness time, but Arkansas, I'd place a lot of money on them to make the Final Four. I love that value. But Gonzaga, I think, wins this game sadly. I don't want to say sadly because I love watching Zaga, but I would love to see Arkansas win. Take the Zaga spread. Take the Zaga or Arkansas spread, excuse me. BYU, Kentucky. Kentucky's going to win this game. 1-2 matchup on that side. That's fine. I think those are the two best teams in the country. Maybe Kansas, so it's fine. Baylor, UCLA. I'll go with Baylor. And then Villanova, Duke. I'm going to go with Villanova. Like I said, I think Duke's one of the more overrated teams. They fall into a lot of spells where they're just playing kind of down to their level, in my opinion. Paolo Banchero is very solid. Maybe he's been a little underwhelming this year. He's not the consensus #1 pick anymore, but he's a really dominant player. Anyone who watches basketball knows how electric that guy is. Arizona, North Texas. Arizona, and then Texas Tech, Wisconsin, Texas Tech. Houston, Kansas, Florida, VCU. Am I really gonna? I don't want to. I go with Auburn, and then I think Kansas will make it here. I think Texas Tech will make it here. I think Nova will make it here, and I think Gonzaga will make it here. So that leaves us with a 1-3-2-3, which I don't know. I said this on the Highlighted podcast. If you guys listened to it a couple months ago, I need to have more bold takes. And this just does not scream like a bracket that's a bold take. I'm not going to go back and change it, but I would not care if you guys screamed at me in the comments that this bracket fucking isn't risky, because it's not. I'm kind of like playing what I think I've seen this year. Like for example, none of you actually think Florida is an Elite Eight team, but I could definitely see Florida beating Auburn in the Sweet 16. Another example, North Texas as a 12 seed, probably not going to beat Arizona, but I have worries about Arizona. I know they got a huge win last night against USC, but maybe come tournament time, North Texas, like no one thought UCLA was going to be a Final Four team last year. And I don't know, whatever though. Gonzaga's winning this game. Gonzaga, Chet Holmgren is, I would say, one of the most underrated players in college basketball. And you're like, what? He's going to be a top 5, top 6 pick. Everyone makes fun of him because of his frame. He shouldn't be good at basketball. Chet Holmgren is a double-double machine. Unbelievable. I cannot say great. A couple weeks ago, I think he was in contention for National Player of the Year. Not anymore because of kind of how he's played lately. You guys are going to hate me for that, but I cannot say enough good things about Chet. And then Kansas, Texas Tech. I'm going with Kansas. Great matchup there, what we've seen all season long in the Big 12. Big 12 winning here. And then Gonzaga, Kansas in the national championship. I'm going to go with Zaga, and I think they win it 65-58. Gonzaga finally gets it done. They get their win that they have been wanting all forever. I mean, Gonzaga always gets to the national championship. They got it last year against Baylor. They got it against UNC however many years ago. I think they finally get it this year. I think this Gonzaga team with Chet, Drew Timme, they're going to be electric. And look, what they do every single year come conference play is something that probably won't be replicated in a long time. This Gonzaga team, regardless on the conference and competition they play, every day they go out and they look like an unbelievable squad. I have no problem with them being the #1 seed, and I think they get a win here. So fellas, ladies, gentlemen, everyone watching, thank you guys for watching. I had a lot of fun with this, going through the whole bracket. If you guys want me to do another one next week, I'd be loving to do it. Let me know how you think of this bracket. Like I said, a lot of fun. I will be on the lookout. Want to do the bracket challenge with you guys. I want to do more March Madness content. If you guys want me to go live on Instagram, let me know on our All Sports Culture page. If you guys want me to go live on YouTube, I mean, I'll just sit down and talk to you guys about it for like 30 minutes. I don't care. Whatever you guys want, I will do, because I'm all about the subscribers and the followers. So thank you guys for watching. And until next week, I will see you guys later.